one of our champions, Senator Avella, Tony Avella from Queens, chief sponsor of legislation to ban fracking in New York.
Hey, Tony.
You know, we're fortunate to live in New York State with some of the best water quality throughout the entire country. Yet here we are, considering the possibility of allowing hydrofracking, which can contaminate that water supply basically forever. Because some of the chemicals that are put into the ground to release the natural gas are actually radioactive with a half-life of 1,000 years. The so-called positive aspects of hydrofracking are simply not worth the risk of contaminating our water supply. You know, some of our upstate Republicans say that, well, this will be the boon to upstate jobs, to create jobs, to revitalize the economy. Even some of the proponents of hydrofracking recognize the fact that any jobs that will be created are very short-term in nature and will stop once the well is drilled, and then those jobs just disappear. Why would we, in any common sense approach, want to risk contaminating the water supply for the sake of a few jobs which will only exist for a few months in any one particular neighborhood? Why would we allow very dangerous toxic chemicals to be pumped into the ground, which only half of the chemicals can be recovered? And even that half, cannot be filtered out. The science does not exist. We're here today to call once again for a complete ban to hydrofracking in New York State. Nothing less is acceptable. Now, yesterday, myself and the leader of the minority conference in the state Senate and Senator Liz Kruger, we sent a letter to the governor and the commissioner of the Department of Environmental Conservation saying that the public review process of the environmental impact statement, which ends today, should be extended to the 180 days we originally asked for. And second, that the new additional study that's being done, which even DEC recognized the fact that the environmental impact statement fell far short of reviewing the negative impacts, financial impacts, that hydrofracking would have on every neighborhood, that the comment period should be extended to the release of this new report and 180 days thereafter. The public has a right to comment on what could be the most serious environmental disaster to happen to this state in modern history. Once again, the governor has to recognize, as people behind us and people throughout this entire state are saying, no fracking way in this state.
Thank you. It's now my honor to introduce another strong champion ally, Senator Liz Kruger.
I've said from day one that science and facts should determine what New York State does with its future decisions about hydrofracturing. I want to thank the natural gas industry. They've helped us understand the science and the facts. They're causing earthquakes in other states and other countries. They have caused, through their technical process, pollution of an enormous environmental impact throughout states in this country. The federal government has documented that the water table in various areas of the state have been contaminated by the chemicals being used in the hydrofracturing process and through the radiation coming up through the drilling process. We know that we are in danger of the exact same things happening in New York State if we go forward. The science and facts are clear that we must, at this point in history, ban hydrofracking. Someone asked me at a recent press conference why I was sure that there would be a ban of hydrofracturing in New York State. And I told them there will be a ban. There can be a ban before we make a terrible mistake and cause a man-made disaster, or there can be a ban after we make a terrible mistake and there is a man-made environmental disaster. Either way, we get a ban. I would rather we stopped it from ever causing the first crisis, which would drive us all to demand the ban. So I stand here today urging the governor and the DEC commissioner to make the only decision that the science and the facts lead you to. New York State must not allow hydrofracture drilling at this point in time anywhere in our state. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's now my honor to introduce my very own state senator, Senator Daniel Squadron.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Eric. Your timing with me is always extraordinary, whether at the supermarket in the neighborhood or at a fracking press conference. I want to first thank my colleagues, Senator Avella and Senator Kruger, who have been such extraordinary leaders on this issue. They have kept beating the drum to ensure that everyone in the state knows just how important it is to ban fracking, just what a mistake it would be to move forward with it in the short term. So thank you both so much. It's an honor to work with you and follow your leadership, and to all of the organizations who brought this together, whether you're constituents or not, thank you very much. The people's voice is being heard because the people are actually involved and engaged, and that makes all the difference, so thank you. And there's not much to add. As I've said before, in every generation, there's the new thing, the new industrial process, the new miracle drug, and a generation later we say, boy, if we only knew then what we know now, we wouldn't have done it. I'm afraid fracking is that thing for this generation, and 30 years from now, 20 years from now, I don't want to be looking back and saying, boy, if we only knew. Other piece of great news, that natural gas has been there a couple of years. It's going to be there for a couple more. We can wait. We can find out what works, what doesn't, what's safe, what isn't. Let's not be the guinea pigs for human health or for our environment. Let's ban fracking in New York State. Let's ban it now. Thank you so much.